And good, let's switch to the other leg. And perfect. So shake them out a little bit. I'm sure we're all still waking up this morning. And next thing we're going to do is get into some jumping jacks. So if you're unable to be standing with us this morning, from a seated position, just here, make sure you're moving your arms. If you can move your legs too, maybe a little bit out to one side and then the other. If not, if you're standing with us this morning, you can either do a nice stepping jumping jack, or you can get into a full jumping jack. So let's try to do 15 to 20 of these, and we'll meet back in a few seconds. Good stuff. I see lots of variation for those of you joining on our Zoom call, so that's good to see. Keep it up. And now that we got that heart pumping a little bit, we're going to get into our first sets of exercise. For this one, you may or may not want to wait. So if you have those by you, go ahead and grab them. I'm going to use my soup cans, and I'm going to be in a seated position to start. And we're going to do some tricep extensions. So from here, we're going to have our arms straight up. And then keep your elbows by your head. And then back straight down. And then straight up. Keep those elbows nice and close. And we're just moving our top half of our arms. If you want to do this from a standing position, that's okay too.
Make sure you're tucking your booty underneath and not arching back.
Yes.
Looking good, everyone.
Yes, yes, well done. And once you've done about 8 to 10 of those, you're okay to take a break. And we will move on to our next exercise, which is going to be calf raises. If you want to do it from a seating position, you're sitting nice at the edge of your chair and pushing up on our toes and back down. Up on our toes and back down. Make sure you're doing it with some nice control. We don't just want to be slamming our feet down. So up and down. If you're joining us and you're able to be standing, same thing, with or without a chair for support. We're up and down. Try to keep your toes on the ground. And let's see if we can get 15 to 20 of these.
Make sure you're on a surface or using a surface that doesn't move so you don't slip.
Yes. Nice and slow up and nice and slow down. Nice and controlled. And once you finish up with those, feel free to grab your weights again. We're going to go back to the tricep extensions, but make sure you finish up on your calf raises if you're still working. This time, I'm going to do mine from a standing position. It looks like Hannah's going to be seated. I got my soup cans for my weight and arms straight up. And then again, keep your elbows nice and close to your ears. And we're bringing them back down towards our shoulder blades. Try to get 8 to 10. If this is too difficult with a weight, you do not need to use a weight. Well done. Feel free to shake out your arms if you need to. I know those get some weird muscles moving this morning. And as soon as we're done with that, we're going to go back into our calf raises. I got a little festive this morning, so I brought a pumpkin for my weight. And I'm going to use this one for my calf raises this time, just to have a little extra weight. Remember, we're trying to get about 15 to 20 of these. Nice, tall, straight line in our body. If you need a weight, that's fine. And then we're just up on our toes and controlled back down. Hannah's doing hers from a seated position, but if you want to do it standing up and you need the support of holding a chair, that's fine too. Well done, everyone. And when you're done with this, you can shake out your legs. If you need to get water at any time, take a break, grab your water. We don't need to wait for you or anything. Just hop back in when you're ready. After that, we're going to get back into our last set of the tricep extensions. So grab a weight again. I'm going to keep using my pumpkin. I'm feeling strong this morning.
I'm going to use my cans.
Heck yes. And we're going to start straight above our head. And then nice and easy back down. And you can see with my pumpkin, I can actually touch just the base of my neck and back up. Keep those elbows in nice and tight.
Make sure you're squeezing those abs too. Stand up nice and tall. Sit up nice and tall too.
Good stuff. Finish strong. Well done. And I can see some of you moving in between sets while you're waiting for the rest of us. That's awesome. We love to see that. Even if you're just moving a little bit in the little space that you have, that's good to see. We are going to get into our last set of the calf raises. So weighted or not, feel free to grab that. I'm going to use my pumpkin again.
I'm going to stand up for these, but I'm going to hold on to my chair for balance.
And as soon as we're ready again, we're going to try to get 15 to 20. If you can't get that many of the third set, that's perfectly fine. Just get as many as you can. And good. Be sure to finish the set that you're on. I'm going to grab a drink really quick. You're free to do the same if you need to. Again, after we're done with those, we're gonna get into 2 new exercises. First one is gonna be a row. I like to do these ones seated, but you're perfectly fine to do them standing. I'll show you the seated variation first. So sitting up nice and tall, we're gonna have our weights or unweighted, and you start with them straight out in front of you, and we're pulling them straight back into about our armpits. Pretend like you're sliding these cans on a tabletop, keeping them nice and parallel to the floor. We're not coming down and we're not coming way up here. Start out nice and straight and pull them straight back in. If you want to do them standing, you are more than welcome to. Try to get 8 to 10 of these, sitting up nice and tall. And try to make it feel like you're pinching a pencil between your shoulder blades. So you're pulling them straight back. Good job. Be sure to finish those ones up. And then the next one, we're going to be standing if we can. If not, I will show you a seated variation. So next, we're going to do a form of a lunge. So from a seated position, you're here, and we're going to do it at a 45-degree angle. So not straight out to the side and not straight forward. At a nice angle here, 45 degrees. As far as you can reach. If you can lean into it a little bit, that's fine too. And as you can see, Hannah's doing one supported with a chair. I will show you one more variation with a weight. I'm going to use my pumpkin again. So we're here, standing up nice and tall, shoulder width apart, and a nice step. Just bending our front leg. Try to have our knees stay behind our toe or just in line with it. And back up. So we're really only bending this front leg and we're at an angle. This one's a little tough. So I'd say if you can get 5 to 10 on each side, that's perfectly fine because we're going to do it again.
Make sure that knee doesn't go over that ankle.
Good job, good job. Finish up those ones. And then when we're done with this, we're going to go back into our rows. So I'm going to do it seated again. The first set was a little tough, so I'm going to go unweighted this time. Again, we're sitting up nice and tall here. Arms straight out. Pretend you're holding something and pull it in. If you don't have a weight this time, just try to keep this bottom part of your hand parallel with the ground.
Make sure your booty's not sticking out and you're tucking your belly in.
Yes.
If you're standing and sitting.
And 8 to 10 of these if we can. Really pull those shoulder blades together in your back. Well done. It looks like a lot of you are improvising with the sort of weights you're using. We love to see that. And as soon as we're done with this, we're going to go back into our 45-degree lunge. So if you have a weight, feel free to grab it now. If you don't need one, that's okay. I'm going to do the seated variation this time.
And I'm still going to do the supported standing.
And whenever you're ready, remember we're just trying to do 5 to 10 on each side for these. This was a little difficult to do 8. So if 5 is all you can get, that's okay. Good, and as you can see, Hannah's getting that back knee nice and low to the ground. If you can do that, that is awesome. Still try to keep that knee behind your toe.
Yeah, if we tell you to keep your knee behind your toe and we're doing it, feel free to unmute and yell at us.
And good. Finish up the set if you're not done. Shake out your arms and legs again. If you need a break for water, again, you're free to do that at any time. As soon as you're done with that, we're going to go back into our rows. I'm feeling good after taking a break that last set, so I'm going to grab my weights again.
I'm going to go unweighted but standing.
And looks like most of us on Zoom at least are ready. So when you are, arms straight out, and you know the drill, straight back. Really pinching those shoulder blades. 8 to 10 of these if we can. Last set of these ones, don't worry, we're almost done. These ones are tough.
Good luck to everybody on Zoom. If you're on Facebook, I can't see you, but good job.
And you know the drill. We have one set left of the 45-degree lunge. So whenever you're ready, grab your weight. If you don't need a weight, don't grab a weight. And I'm going to use my pumpkin again, and I'm going to start. Remember, 5 to 10 on each side.
I'm going to go standing and bump up the difficulty without holding on.
If this last set is feeling hard on your legs, you don't need to go down as far. Almost there, almost there. Whew. I'm going to grab another drink before we move on to our next exercises. Feel free to do the same.
Hope you guys are sweating. We are.
We sure are. And we'll give you a few more seconds to relax, catch your breath before we get into the next exercise. For these next two exercises, I don't think you really need any weight. So if you have them, you can set them down for a minute.
Denise, you keep moving. You go, girlfriend.
Yeah, keep it up. All right, and it looks like most of us are ready to get moving again. So our next exercise is a hip abduction. So if you want a chair for support, it's always right here. And I like to keep my hand on my hip for balance, and we're just standing and pushing our leg out as far as we can where it's comfortable. So if it's only this far, that's okay. But if you can get it up a little bit higher, make sure you still stand up straight. We don't want to be leaning. So just as far as this is comfortable. From a seated position, it's the same thing. If we can sit back in our chair and we're just reaching, making sure you feel a little bit of work in our hip abductors here.
We want to make sure we have good posture. So what we're going to do is you're going to squeeze your belly, tuck the booty under. Stand up nice and tall.
And 8 to 10 on this side, whichever side you're doing first. And when you've done that, go to the other side. This one is just as far as it's comfortable, even if it doesn't hurt. You will feel it if you go too far. So just as far as it's comfortable.
Like we said earlier, we want to make sure we're not tipping like a teapot.
And good, that one where you can really feel it if your hips are tight. So if you need to move them another direction to shake them out, that's okay. For this next exercise, I'm gonna grab some small weights. I'm gonna use these soup cans. If you have hand weights and you wanna use them, that's cool. The next exercise we're gonna do are just shoulder shrugs. So very easy to do if you're seated. Just have your weights or your hands right down by your sides. Make sure your shoulders are nice and flat. And we're just gonna pull our shoulders up towards our ears and back down. As you can see, Hannah's showing you the standing variation. Let's get 8 to 10 of these. Nice and controlled on the way up and on the way down. Make sure we're not rounding our shoulders forward too much. Keep them nice and even, right by our ears. Well done. And you know the drill. Back to our first exercise. I'm going to use the chair to support me again. And hand on my hip.
I'm going to go without a chair. We'll see how this goes.
Again, 8 to 10 on each side. So once you've done this side, go at your own pace. You can go to the other side. And we're standing up nice and tall, keeping our hip in line with the rest of our body. Now you know what I was talking about before. You don't need to wait for this one for your body to feel it. And if you get done a little bit early, take a play out of Denise's book and just keep moving in between. Well done. You can shake out your legs again. I know you can feel a little bit of tightness there after those. And after that, we are going back into our shoulder shrugs. You can do it seated, standing, with or without weight. So get whatever you need for this one.
I'm going to do mine sitting.
I'm going to do
my weights.
Yes, and I'm going to go standing with my weights. Again, body is in a nice upright position. Shoulders are back and straight up to our ears.
If you're doing this sitting and you're a shorty like me, make sure your feet are on the ground. Sometimes they don't always touch.
If you need another good example to look at, check out Ben Packfield. He's on our screen joining us this morning. Great form over there, Ben.
Thanks for the shout out. I want to shout out your nice shirt you're wearing there too.
Oh yeah, twins in.
Twins.
And good. You can shake your arms out after that one. Gets tough the second time around. After we're all done with those, we're going to go back into our final set, working our hips. So get into whichever position you need. I'm going to stick with the one I've been doing the whole time. with my support over here.
I'm gonna go back to my chair. That was really hard last time.
Absolutely. Feel free to downgrade if you ever need to. There's no shame in that. You are still up and moving. So 8 to 10 on each side. Let's go. And as we go through this last set, I can already tell that my hip is feeling it. So you might notice I'm not lifting my leg as high. That's okay. If you can't get 8 to 10, just do as many as you can comfortably. Take the rest of the time to walk it out, get a drink, do whatever you need to do.
Make sure you're checking in with yourself where your posture is. Last thing you want to do is like have your chest down here while you're doing them.
Right. And I got done a little bit early that time, so I'm just going to keep moving in place until it looks like more of us are ready to move on. Good. And last set of shoulder shrugs. So I'm going to grab my weights for the last time, and I'm going to do them standing again.
I will do mine sitting.
All right, looks like most of us are ready. Again, shoulders back nice and even and pulling them up towards our ears. Try to control your movements on the way up and the way down. You don't want to just slam your arms back down.
You go, Dad. That looks great. Got some strong shoulders.
And I set my weights down. You shouldn't need weights for any more of our exercises. If you want them, you can use them, but we're going to go into a cool down. So I am done with the weights for today. Take another second to breathe, shake it out, grab a drink. We'll give you a few seconds before we get into our cool down.
My girl Denise up there keeps moving. I like it.
Yes, we love it. Up and moving. All right, so we are just going to start by walking or jogging in place. Whatever you want to do, make sure your arms and your legs are shaking out a little bit. Oh yeah, Ben's moving around his whole room. Yes, you can go forward, backwards, in circles. You can slow it down if you're ready to really let your heart rate come down. Just nice and slow. And good. So back to one of them that we did in our warm-up. We're going to do the leg swings. So I'm going to use the chair and just let our legs swing as high as it's comfortable before it's pinching in our hip, and then back.
And let's make sure we're not going too crazy with our back. Keep it nice and tight.
And after you feel like your one leg is shaken out enough, feel free to switch to the other one. This one's all about being comfortable, and we're just cooling down our bodies. And good. So the next cool down exercise I'm going to show you, I like this one from a seated position, but you can do it from a standing position as well. So you start with your arms on your side, lift them straight up, almost touching if you can, back down, and then if we can pull our shoulders back a little bit, and then back up, and down, And then pull your shoulders back a little bit, point your fingers behind you. And another one. Just go as high as you can. And then back. Good. I know we did a lot with our back and our shoulders today, so we're just trying to keep those moving a little bit and cooling them down, nice and easy. Just try to get one or two more, and then we'll move on. Nice and slow. And good. So when everyone else is ready, we're just gonna really bring it home, slow down that heart rate. Make sure with this last exercise, you slow down your breathing, in nice and slow, out nice and slow. And we're just gonna stretch our neck, try to get your ear to your shoulder and hold. And focus on your breathing.
If that feels good, stay there. If you want a little bit harder of a stretch, pick your hand up. Add just a little bit of overpressure to that head.
And good. To the other side. Really slowing down that breathing, letting that heart rate drop.
You can add that same overpressure just to the opposite side if you need to. This stretch is also really, really good if you get a lot of tension headaches.
And good. Feel free to keep doing that stretch while I send you off with some information. First of all, thank you for everyone that showed up today. If you're watching this live, thanks for getting up on this Saturday morning. If you're watching it later, thanks for checking it out. If you found this by any means and you haven't signed up, go to upandmoving.org and you can sign up on the homepage. Otherwise, you can access other workouts with the workout tab. If you sign up, you will be added to our email list so you can learn about upcoming workouts, if you need any weights or anything for your workouts, and just any other upcoming events we have. Our next workout will be Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. We do a Wednesday workout at lunchtime, I believe at noon, 11:30. Okay. And then on Saturday or Thursday morning at 9:30, and then again on Saturday at 10 o'clock. We hope that you can join any or all of those workouts. Be sure to tell others you know in the community, friends, family, whoever, anyone is free to join. All of our workouts are free and they are going to be posted live, and then they are on Facebook if you need to find us at Up and Moving, on our YouTube channel at Up and Moving, and then on our actual website, upandmoving.org. And then again, I would just encourage you to follow the 4 W's. Wash your hands, wear your mask, watch your distance. As you can see, we're 6 feet apart working out, and walk. If you have some time to stick around for a minute or two, just to give us some feedback or ask any questions, we'll stick around. We'll turn the recording off so you can ask them privately. But again, thank you for coming.